Hello. I just turned your mic on. Welcome to Two Pastors and a Podcast.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Here. Is there noise?
We'll see. I hear me.
There you were. There you are. Talk, Josh. Hey, there I am. Okay.
Speak, Joshua.
Well, good morning, everyone. Whenever you watch this, good afternoon, good evening, whatever.
Good night.
Hi.
Hello.
It's, we are a very tired
I
Tuesday.
think this one's yours. That's okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I mean, you can adjust it.
I just want this down at the bottom.
So, oh, that doesn't. It's too small.
Oh, man. Okay. I just won't mess with it. It's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine.
This is the Tired Tuesday.
It's not how I want it.
I mean, mine's right here.
I think I had this one last week because I remember playing with it.
Whatever.
You have my mic stand. I'm just kidding. Yes, I am tired. Very sorry.
We spent a long time today talking about the future of the podcast and how we're going to move forward. And now we're all out of energy.
No, I have the energy. It's in my coffee cup.
Now, if you're watching, say good morning. Or if you start watching in a little bit, say good morning.
You don't have anything to drink.
I don't have anything to drink. I don't have any coffee in my office anymore. I ran out. And I don't have any pop in my refrigerator anymore. I ran out. So I have a mint.
This is a sad day.
It's okay. I probably don't need caffeine right now. I've been drinking a lot of caffeine. A lot of heart palpitations lately. Probably
That's
need
fair.
to chill.
That's fair. It's good for your teeth to not drink as much anymore.
Who cares? Your teeth are going to fall out anyway. My parents could never afford to take me to the dentist, so they've been fine this whole time.
Well, good.
They chew things up.
They do what they're supposed to do.
That's all that matters. So we had a busy weekend.
Yes.
How you feeling after everything?
Tired.
Yeah?
No, it was. I really enjoyed Sunday. I thought it was a good Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure how the Sermon in the Sack was going to go.
Yeah, I wasn't either.
I was a little stressed because I'd brought like a pumpkin. I can't even remember what all I brought. Anyways, and then everybody was really late too, which is fine. But it's just like usually I let the kids help me pick what you're going to preach on.
Uh-huh.
And so all that I had was Margot. So when it's just Margot, you know it's going to be a fun time. And so she was looking at all the stuff and she goes, I think I want the alien monster thing. I'm like, are you sure? She said, uh-huh. I want to make it hard on him today. I'm like, okay.
Well, honestly, I think if she would have picked a pumpkin, I would have been a mess. Well, I mean, what?
What do you preach on for a pumpkin?
I couldn't have done fruit of the Spirit.
Yeah.
Even though it's not a fruit. Because we talk about that all the time in youth group, and they've been like, oh, I see what he did.
It's a gourd. That's right.
It's a gourd.
Mm-hmm.
Although Kathy's lesson to the kids that night would have been the right way to go, but I wouldn't have thought about that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't pay enough attention to gourds to preach on a gourd. I just don't.
Yeah.
Jen,
Anyways.
hi. Good morning, Jen. You can ask
Jen.
questions anytime.
Yep.
We've always invited them, so type it up.
I won't see it, but he will.
Send it this way, and we'll do our best to talk about it occasionally. Depends.
And then we got done so early, Keith and I were able to put up our booth way early, which was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we got back, I was just able to help whoever needed help, and was a good evening. We had a lot of people, which I was pleasantly surprised about.
Yeah, it was a great night. Yeah, Family Sunday was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I did get the sermon done. That was it was a miracle in itself.
I thought it was a very good job.
Thanks.
Right on the spot.
Thanks.
I would never.
Would you?
Anybody
else?
I would literally never.
Would anyone else be able or willing? I don't say able. I don't want to make that sound like I'm capable of something, but how do you feel? How does it make you feel to think maybe there'd come a day where you'd stand up in front of a bunch of people and you get handed an object and say, teach us about Jesus based on this one object you don't know it. Well, could you do it? What would happen? How would you handle that?
Panic attack.
Would you have a panic attack?
No, I think I would probably figure something out, I'm sure. It just doesn't sound like a lot of fun.
I don't know. I kind of welcome the pressure.
Of course you do.
It's the one time I work as ADHD. I thrive under pressure.
Yeah.
There's something that happens weird. Maybe it's because there's so much pressure and anxiety in the mind.
It slows your brain down enough.
Slows it down, and I can hone in.
Which is kind of crazy because doesn't adrenaline make it faster? I don't know.
Well, you think so, but ADHD meds speed your brain up to slow everything down.
That's what I'm saying.
It's so counterintuitive.
I don't understand the ADHD brain yet. So
listen, I can write a home run of a sermon at 6:00 on a Sunday morning.
I know you can.
I can spend all week this week, every single day, multiple hours slaving away on a sermon and just feel miserable and take forever and get bored and then go back to it and then forget what I was going to say. And I can do this all week long. And some weeks I do. And then some weeks, because of funerals or deaths or whatever, you come in on a Sunday morning at 5:00 in the morning, you're just... Best sermon I've preached in 6 weeks. So something about that sermon in a sack that...
You just like it.
My brain just...
Yep.
Everything else kind of zones out. And, it's the one preaching Sunday where I don't notice when people are getting up and down or making noise or whatever. Yeah. That's when like
I am focused.
I am focused
Lasered
on
in.
Get me out of this situation as fast as possible.
Which it was pretty quick, but that was okay because it was a good sermon.
No, what I love about Family Sunday, it's always quick.
Yeah.
And especially you got preschoolers in there and reminded church can be meaningful without being really long.
Yeah.
Church can also be meaningful when it's really long too. Yeah. But it's a nice kind of breath for everyone, all those who serve our kids, and for me as a pastor, not having to write and really think forward, but just coming in on a Sunday, just open. Yeah, is a good.
Just letting the Spirit move.
Yeah, good exercise.
And I also think the kids did such a good job. They were very.
Oh yeah, they were great.
They were great.
They had their.
You never know.
They didn't even have their moments.
Finley fell asleep. Like it was great.
I was telling David. I said, he wasn't really asleep. I think he was loving the attention in that moment when I pointed him out. Hi, Lida May. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, he was. Because when I said, "Are you asleep, Finley?" Everyone's looking. He's just, you could tell, like really trying hard.
Oh, Finn.
I love about Finn. He loves coming to church so much.
He does. He's ready to go.
That's really cool. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I love Sermon in a Sack, and hopefully for those that was the first Family Sunday they've had that was meaningful.
Yeah,
I think the puppet skit was awesome. I think people really appreciated that.
We should do a behind the scenes real fast of me trying to be the other puppet.
Yeah, during the practice. Caitlin's too short to sit in a chair and use the puppet thing. So she's standing up, and I said, Caitlin, I can see you. So her arm is propping up the curtain.
Short.
And I could see the drum set. I was like, I don't think this is going to work. So you came out in the front. And actually, I liked you being in front because it helped the kids engage a bit more. But low-key, what we do need is, because I know Tanner's worked with Lily before, training her how to do puppets. So any teenager that wants to learn or thinks that's really exciting, Tanner would
Oh, yeah.
light up to teach you. But we need to set aside some funds to get some not cheap but very nice, kind of like what we get for Cokesbury with the VBS puppets for Tanner and the puppet ministry.
Those puppets that we get at Cokesbury are about $45, I think.
Yeah,
a puppet, and they're really well made.
They're really well made. So I we definitely are on the lookout for those. So maybe if you see some that look really stout and nice and fun, run it by Tanner.
Yep.
But I think that would be really cool to get some new ones that he can make some characters out of.
He would appreciate it.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
No more Super Mirror.
Yeah, that's the worst one.
Everybody complains. It's so long. Oops.
It's long and the mouth is small and it's just anyway. Do you have any get to know you questions? Because most of the time what we like to do is a get to know you. This is also, Jen, a good time. If you want to know something about us, you can ask a question.
I totally forgot about that. I'm not going to lie.
Or Lida May, if you have a question, you can always type that in and let us know. It's a get to know you segment. Although Caitlin doesn't really want to get to know us today.
No, I've asked you all the questions and you're so sad.
I'm not going to refute that. Oh, guess what? Today, I was just thinking, today is the first official day I'm wearing my sweatshirt on podcast day. It's officially fall time.
I always wear a sweatshirt.
It's 63 degrees in the church this morning. It's going to be a chilly day.
Have I asked you if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I don't know. You may be, but we can go with that. Let's go with that. It depends on my ADHD.
Oh, yeah, because you have the hyper-focus meals. That's right.
Well, Jen asked, what's your favorite drinks other than coffee?
Drinks, Dr. Pepper.
Coffee.
Coffee and Dr.
Other
Pepper.
than coffee?
What is
Coffee.
Coffee and coffee?
It's just coffee.
Iced coffee.
No. Oh.
Josh is a plain black.
Just black coffee. Puts hair on your chest.
I don't need that.
Makes your voice deeper.
I don't need that either.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sorry, Jen, to disappoint you. I literally don't care about any other liquid than coffee.
Mm-mm. I'm a Dr. Pepper person, though. That's me. Coffee and Dr. Pepper. And water. Water's important. Hydrate yourself.
Listen, I don't think that water's not taste. Some people say, oh, I don't like the taste. I'm like, listen, you're made out of water. It's impossible to hate the taste of water. It's just water. I don't mind water.
You just drink it in your coffee.
That's exactly right. I need to drink a lot of coffee to make up for the
caffeine dehydrating you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I would need to drink about 3 gallons of coffee a day to get the same amount of moisture in my body that everyone else does. But
that sounds about right. But yeah, that's all my favorite. I do like at the Strawberry Festival, they have those strawberry shake-ups.
Yeah, they do that. That's sugar water.
That might be my third favorite drink.
That's sugar. That's Men in Black. That's sugar water.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's right. Growing up, we lived on Kool-Aid.
Sugar.
I remember making Kool-Aid. Anybody else make Kool-Aid? The old packets, you'd open 2 packets, you put them in, and then just big scoops of sugar, fill it up with water, and you're good to go for an hour.
Sugar Kool-Aid.
Yeah, sugar
Colored
water.
sugar
Yeah,
water.
it's colored. Man, those were good days.
They were.
Can't anymore because my body hates me. Anyway, what's your favorite drink? But back to hyperfood. I get really focused on favorite foods. So there was a season where you remember this peanut butter and honey sandwiches.
Yep.
That's all I would eat.
They are really good too.
That's all I would eat every day.
Did you toast the bread or just regular bread?
Oh no, I hate toast. I'll eat toast in the morning occasionally, but I don't like crunch.
Oh.
What's that? The worst food on the planet is celery. People put celery in things and it ruins my life.
Keith would agree. Celery is bad news. He doesn't like it.
Put it in chicken salad and I'm like,
why? Sad.
What's this rock that you put in my food?
Is it like the string that you don't like the
No, it's the crunch.
The crunch.
What is that? It doesn't even taste like anything. You just put it in there. It's nonsense.
You're like 85%
now listen,
water.
I'm getting okay. Now you know I'm tired. I'm starting to complain about celery.
Celery.
Celery has made my whole day bad right now.
But I want to know what you would eat. Obviously, you're not going to eat celery.
So
We get it.
recently, I have been eating burritos all the time. And I think that's probably my absolute favorite food. Anything in a burrito form.
That's fair.
Burrito form. That's it. So I did my egg breakfast burrito this morning. It's lazy, but it's also like a little less kind of hit and miss with chicken. Chicken flavor makes me sometimes.
Yeah.
But ironically, I've been eating a lot of canned chicken.
Oh, that's so gross.
It smells like tuna fish. And maybe that's why. Anyway, I fry that up. I season it. I have chicken burritos all the time. So right now I'm on this big burrito kick. But anyway, what's your favorite?
Potatoes.
Oh.
Because you can do so much with potatoes.
I just read that potatoes the one food that humans can survive on if that's all you ate all the time.
I would survive on a potato.
My diabetes would kill me.
It would.
But
I probably shouldn't. I'm not like hypoglycemic, but like I'm very sugar sensitive. So I should probably pay more attention than I do, especially because it will trigger a migraine if I dip really far down.
Oh, yeah.
And then go back up quickly.
Yeah.
Not good for me.
Yeah.
I'm not answering you. But yes, potatoes. I love French fries. I love mashed potatoes. I love baked potatoes. I love scalloped potatoes.
Oh, I love scalloped potatoes.
I love tater tots. I love hash browns.
Yeah. I remember, I don't know. We just always ate box food growing up. We were poor. Not that that's a poor thing, but it was for us back then.
It lasts longer too.
It did. Yeah. And au gratin potatoes
so
out of the
good.
box. Oh, man.
I have boxes in my pantry of scalloped potatoes right now. They do take a little bit of time, so it's not like something you can be like, oh, I want this. And then
not
eat
the
it.
last second dinner. Yeah.
It's got to be like, you know what you want to eat an hour before.
Jen says, raw potatoes with salt. Have you tried that?
No.
You're on another level, Jen.
Jen really likes potatoes.
Yeah, that's another. I remember my grandpa. I would think about him. His favorite vegetable was like radishes, and he'd pull them right up out of the garden. He'd pull them, pop, dust them off on his leg, and pop them right in his mouth.
That's crazy. Were they hot? Every radish that I've grown has been really hot.
Spicy. Yeah, that kind. Well, you have a different version or idea of hot.
No. If my mom says that a radish is hot, it's probably pretty hot. I'm just special.
Yeah, well, we're going to go with that.
My tongue is special tongue.
We're going to go with that.
But yep, that's mine. What's your food that you would eat forever?
Yeah, what would you eat forever? Forever. I guess in the end, if it was a forever food, it'd be tacos, burritos, something like that.
Something Mexican, so that you can put some spicy in it.
Yeah. Nothing more boring than white people food.
This is fair. And here I am saying potatoes.
Lida May says radishes need to be planted in the spring to reduce the heat.
Yep, that also requires planning.
You'll learn right now that Caitlin, it's not about reducing heat. Caitlin needs zero heat. If there's a negative Scoville unit,
you are trying. You are still trying to kill me. If it's a negative Scoville unit,
Keith is like me. He loves heat.
Still trying to kill me.
And he has to make dinner very, very particularly to make sure that Caitlin's not going to kill him.
Like even pepper sometimes will kill me.
That's another level.
It will.
Well,
I don't eat anything that hurts my mouth. Why would I eat something that hurts me? I'm just saying.
We eat all kinds of things that hurt us, in other ways.
Pain-wise. Like, the same thing. If it gives me a stomachache, I'm not eating it.
It depends. I'm lactose intolerant, and some
days
I can't. You take me to ice cream shop, and some days it's like, this is really going to hurt.
Maybe that's why I like potatoes
Probably
so
where
much.
the
Because a potato never hurts me. Never. It never stabs me in the stomach.
Never hurts your mouth.
I've never had a potato that wasn't kind to me.
That's right. That's really funny. Now we get it. Okay, now we learned a little something about Caitlin today. She loves potatoes because they're nice to her.
Listen, I'm in pain a lot of the time. So if I can prevent any other pain from happening to me, I'm going to do it.
Is there any research that spicy food might help with migraines? I'm Googling this real quick. Hold on.
Sour.
Wait, I'm asking. Hold on. Stop. Can really spicy foods help prevent migraines? Search. Some studies suggest spicy foods, specifically the capsaicin in chili peppers, may help prevent migraines by blocking pain signals.
You know what else helps pain? Carbs and potatoes.
No, that takes away emotional pain.
No, seriously. Carbs and like the what is it? The glucose or the sugar or whatever in carbs. Starch.
Yeah.
It
Or
helps,
whatever.
helps whatever the pain receptors are. But also sometimes sour things can help prevent a migraine. There have been times that I walk around
Which one helps a migraine more?
Good gravy.
Period. Oh no. Don't go too quick. Spicy or sour foods? Question mark. Now you know how I talk to my phone. Spicy foods may help migraines more than sour foods. Again, because capsaicin in hot peppers can inhibit pain signals and open sinuses, while certain sour foods can act as triggers for some individuals.
Can you tell me why I would want the pain to go from my head to my mouth?
No, the point is you put the pain here and it doesn't happen up here. That's what, that's what it is. That's exactly what it says. That's exactly what it says.
I did see something yesterday I found interesting. You put your feet in very hot water and then you put ice pack around your neck.
So it must be doing something with your pain receptors.
Or it's like drawing
your
pain
attention
down to your feet. I don't know.
Listen, build some spice tolerance and see if it helps.
Build spice. Build?
Yeah.
That's not a thing.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. You gradually work your way up. Yes, it is.
I'm going to fight
I
you.
used to eat mango habanero wings at Buffalo Wild Wings, and I mean, I'd be like oozing, and I'd be hiccuping all. Now I eat them, and they don't even do anything to me. Now ask Brad how that went. Ask Brad how that went. I got a bunch of free wings that night because Brad tried to keep up with me. He ruined his whole dinner.
Aw, poor Brad.
He ate one wing. He was like, okay, I don't even want to eat anymore. So I took home free wings. It was a great day. Okay, so we've been talking about
food.
Food.
Are we hungry or tired?
Well, what's your favorite? What's your forever food, if there's one? Lida May says deer meat and taters.
Deer meat and taters.
Yeah.
See, taters are the best.
Oh, Keith says fish, probably tacos. As
Fish.
long as he can change the meat. I agree with that. I can feel that. So we've been talking about, it's a part of the whole purpose of our podcast when we started 31 episodes ago.
Look at us go.
Look at us go. What, a year ago?
No.
January. Yeah. Almost.
Almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to go back and watch those.
No, but they're all there on YouTube. Part of our purpose was, one, I think pastors really like to just talk.
We do, and we talk a lot.
We talk a lot, and it's the engaging theologically, it's the bouncing back and forth, whether it's current events or whatever. That just pastors thrive, and they need that space to be able to talk. And I think sometimes when we think as church people, talking theology seems like that's not for me, or that's only for academics, or it's only for pastors. And and there's sometimes a barrier to entry because we paint this picture of how much we have to know to be able to just talk. And one of the goals of the podcast was for you and I just to have our normal conversations where everyone can watch and see. Because I really was hoping, and I do believe that the more lay people see into the daily rhythms and conversations of pastors and those who have gone through a lot of schooling, whatever, they'd uncover that they can talk like that too. It's really simple. It's going back and forth and sharing thoughts and exploring and it's also one of the ways that the church gets to see how we come alive when we talk about theology or, and scripture or whatever it might be that kind of goes along with that. And so there's never really been a point outside of just you and I talking as pastors and inviting people into that space to see that and engage with that. And some weeks we don't really know what we're going to talk about, if we have anything at all.
Yeah.
And we kind of wing it, which is by design. This is not like I never want this to become a job or a part of my job where, it's just supposed to be something that it just, again, invites everyone in and gives you and I a chance to talk in a way that edifies the church, but isn't necessarily a part of our job, if you want to put it that way. But we were talking this morning about giving ourselves like a home kind of base so that in some weeks when there's other things to talk about, we just might talk about something else. But for the vast majority of the time, just kind of showing everyone, inviting people in to just see how pastors read Scripture and just talk through a Bible study.
Yeah.
So we're going to focus for a while, probably a long while, and it won't be like chapter by chapter. It's just going to kind of be free-flowing because, again, that's what the whole point of this is. Through a lot of the Old Testament, particularly from Exodus down through 2 Kings maybe or something like that, is the journey of God's people. And I preach a lot in the New Testament, and I think Christians, especially today, who are under read and scripturally at times purposefully illiterate, it's very important for Christians to read the New Testament and study the New Testament as much as they possibly can.
Which is why we're reading the 5x5x5 this
right,
year.
we do the 5x5x5. We'll start that again this next January, and that will make more sense for some of our newer folk.
Yep.
But just dwell in the New Testament, especially Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and sometimes John. Just really, no, I love John, but it's just a different gospel. But especially in the Gospels, read those over and over and over and over and over again until you just got them embedded in your mind and the narratives of them and that kind of thing. Because we are Christians, in order to be Christian and to know how to live a Christ-like life, we have to know who Christ is. Yeah. And the only thing that we have are the Gospels. It's also important because it's really easy to read the Old Testament in error. Yeah. And utilize the Old Testament in wrong ways as Christian people. Yeah. If we don't know enough about Jesus, if it's not really embedded in our mind and heart, really like a strong foundation, we can mess up in the Old Testament all the time. Yep. So I preach a lot of the New Testament intentionally because we're just overall biblically illiterate people, and we need to know Jesus better. And so we start there. Now, that does mean, though, that, and remember, the reason why the early church kept the Old Testament as a part of the canon and said, hey, we need to attach this, is to remind everyone we're not polytheists who thinks Jesus is, we're monotheists, and this is the story attached to the old story. But it is the old covenant for a reason. Yeah. So we want to be able to read the Old Testament, and I think to read it through Wesleyan lens of the story of God leading up to Jesus and how the Old Testament was always pointing to Jesus, even though they didn't really know it at the time. So again, if it points to Jesus, we got to know who Jesus is. So we can read the Old Testament. It's like, okay, now I can see where Jesus. Yeah.
Reading it through a Christological lens. It's such a fun word to say.
Yeah, good theology word.
Christological.
Christological. So, we wanted to spend some time in the Old Testament on this podcast, just
Yep.
kind of working through. Now, I thought what would be fun, we're going to be in Exodus. We're going to start working through just that beginning, right? Exodus, is that what you decided?
Yep.
Caitlin chose.
I chose.
Caitlin chose. This is where we're going to be. But I thought it would be fun to help you. Have you ever had a hard time reading the Old Testament?
Yes.
What makes, maybe some of you can answer on here, what makes the Old Testament so hard for Christians to read?
It's so different.
Uh-huh.
It's very old.
Yeah.
And any time that you have to remove yourself from your current culture and try to put your brain in whatever they were going through, like I can't even imagine what life was like then.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like we're just so far removed. I think that's probably one of the hardest parts. And it's really important when you read the Bible to see the whole context of what you're reading, or else you're going to miss the whole point.
Yeah.
So,
or even just miss the gravity of it or something like that. So even with the New Testament stories in the Gospels and with Jesus, it's like, oh man, this is why I preach the way that I preach. It's like if you're not trying to dig a little deeper, you miss big gravity moments. It's like, whoa. If you live back then, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And that's where it's just like, it's cool. Yeah.
But also, like you've said it before, the Bible is like it's written in a quote unquote boring kind of way,
Oh yeah.
So it's not like we're reading about these wars that are happening, but it's not like there are some graphic parts, but it's not like really into the details and stuff. So it leaves a lot to the imagination.
It does. Because they would have assumed you didn't have to imagine.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you got to dig a little bit. Yeah. There's a book on my shelf. I think it's called Why Study the Past. And one of the things that I loved about that book was he said, history is a stranger. And you need to let it be a stranger because it is. It's so different than how we live our lives today. So that's definitely one block, I think, the Old Testament. It's hard to wrap our minds around the customs. I mean, you say it's so different. There were things that even God's people that were part of God's people's lives. So it's just like,
it's crazy.
Oh.
It feels a little crazy. Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
And it can be uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable. Yeah. So that's one thing. For me, one of the things, and you said kind of boring at times. You got, we remember it was an oral tradition. They didn't hand Bibles around. They didn't have books around that they passed around to people. So all the stories in the Old Testament, a lot of the stories, and in different books, different sections, it's so much repetition.
Yeah.
When you get to the last half of Exodus, and we won't spend much time there because it's so repetitive. They're building the tent, and they're getting all this stuff. And it's like, how many times are we going to read that they need to be this long and this color? And it was all for memory.
Yep.
If we say this many times and we do it in kind of this poetic way, it'll get stuck in people's heads and they will just know.
Yeah.
Because they were supposed to memorize these. They needed to memorize these things because they didn't have books to carry around or phones to Google, what helps with a migraine or not. So that's definitely, when I say boring sometimes, I think that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's so much repetition that you're just like, how many times are we going to say this already? So that's the barrier to entry sometimes. One of the things that was hard for me was knowing how to view the flow of the Old Testament.
Oh, yeah.
Because, we've got the Old Testament. It's like one big book. It takes up way more of the Bible.
Yeah, it's huge.
Than the little book, right?
Yeah. The Gideons put the New Testament in a tiny little thing.
I know, they do. So Scott Daniels helped with this, but I think what I want to spend a little bit of time before we kind of jump into the Exodus story today is just kind of helping anyone engage the Old Testament in a way where it might help you I think understanding how it's laid out and what the books are there to do empowers you to read it better. Yeah. Maybe that's how I want to say it. So you got kind of these big themes. So you look at Genesis, the first 11 chapters of Genesis are just the beginning. God creates, there's the Garden of Eden, and there's this beautiful picture of God's not just people, but actually the earth we live on is just as valuable to God as we are as people. And there's a perfect picture of Eden and life together. And then you see with the fruit all the way down through chapter 11, you see this just barrel roll down the hill of just falling further and further away. Everything from Cain and Abel to Noah to the Tower of Babel. You know, there's just this kind of everything opposite of what God intended happens between chapters 1 through 11. That's kind of the big picture. And then the last portion is really Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and this messy journey of God calling these people out and starting to reform a people after the Garden of Eden, and it ends on Joseph, being in Egypt. But it's that kind of patriarchal narrative in Genesis. All the beginning stuff, God's first people called out, and again, that messy journey. And then you end in Exodus.
The first covenant, right?
Uh-huh.
Or the second? I don't know.
Yeah.
Covenant of God's people.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I'll make your descendants great. But what a messy journey. I think if you were to preach a sermon on, or if you spend a series in Genesis, you'd just call it like skeletons in the closet, because that's what it kind of feels like. It does. So when you read Genesis, it's a big book.
Yeah.
But just pay attention to what's happening there. It's the beginning and the falling out of that. And society, it's kind of the explanation. Why is society the way that it is? Well, here's why. It's the way that it is. And then God starts to call Abraham. And then it really centers on Jacob and moving forward. And then you have this long portion in the Old Testament, Exodus, Numbers, and even Joshua, if I can bridge a couple here. Joshua. And then you got some law books in there, which come later, but in the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible. But you look at Exodus and some in Numbers and Joshua, and it's that, God redeems God's people, and it's this journey of out of Egypt as they are formed by God's people or formed as God's people, and God is their king. They mess up a lot. People have to wander a lot. And then you get to Joshua and they move into the promised land. And then the rules start to change a little bit because everyone's going to be dispersed. And you start to see people kind of live out their life. And it's a beautiful passage in Joshua. You choose today who you're going to serve. It wasn't like a guilt trip. It was like you need to decide. You're either going to serve the Lord or not. As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. And so there's that story, again, of God's people in a messy way, trying to worship the Lord, Him being their king, and Him being the leader, and them trying to live life faithfully, right? In that covenant relationship where, again, that covenant is reinforced every time, even when the God's people fail. And then they're in Joshua, and everything seems to be like maybe it's going to go okay. And then you get to Judges and
Which
Samuel.
Is great.
And I remember growing up with Judges and the stories they tell you in Sunday school, and you thought they were such good people. Oh, no. Oh, far from the truth. Like Samson was such a hero to me. Oh, no. Oh, no. He's not a hero. That's a tragedy.
Oh,
it's a tragic story.
Yep.
Anyway, Judges is this picture of God's people constantly failing in their covenant, and then these judges are sent to deliver them. But these judges, each and every time, they start out pretty good, and each judge just gradually, by the end of their life, falls off.
Yeah.
Climaxing in Samson, and then even just the terrible way that the book of Judges ends. But what you see is this fall, and then you get to Samuel and Kings. Right? So we have the beginning, and we have God delivering His people and shaping His people to be their king, to be their one leader. And then you get to Samuel. And Samuel is why we are where we are today.
Yeah.
Samuel is We want a king.
Yeah.
We need somebody over us that we can look at and see and, whatever. And again, it's like this great, I remember hearing a long time ago, we always want proof for God's existence.
Right.
And truth is, maybe you'll disagree, but truth is God could write in the sky every day in the clouds, I'm right here.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, you'd start looking up at that and you'd be like, well, I've seen it my whole life.
Right.
It's probably just like cloud seeding
Mm-hmm.
or something like
Yeah.
that. This is like Israel.
Yeah.
Pillar of fire, miracles, plagues, whatever it is. They've seen it all,
Mm-hmm.
their whole existence. And they're just like, we really need someone that we can see.
It's like the grass is always greener on the other side.
100%.
They saw all these kingdoms and they wanted to be great right now.
Just like them. Just like them.
Yeah.
And that was the whole point.
Yeah.
Was we need to be just like everybody else. Mm-hmm. Everyone else has a king. And so Samuel is this, okay, Samuel is like, goes to God and is like, no, like this is stupid. Like if this is what they want, God says, if this is what you want is an earthly person to be your ruler, this is a good lesson for today. If this is what you want, then here's what's going to happen. They're going to treat you just like every other king does. Mm-hmm. Subjugate your people, all these things. So go to him and tell him, I can be your king and I will love you. Or you can choose. You can be just like everyone else. And what do? They choose to be just like everyone else. Well, then everything seems like it's going to go good. And Samuel's this fall. You get Saul, strapping king. Whoop.
Yeah.
Then you get David. And David's, a guy after God's own heart, but he has some major falls. Then you have Solomon, so wise, 700 concubines later. Let's in Babylon. Yeah. And then you journey through, you got Elijah in there, you got Elisha, and you got these bad kings and bad queens. And what you see is, again, when God's people in Judges through Kings, Chronicles maybe, Judges through Kings, is this block of scripture saying, we turned out to be just like everyone else. Mm-hmm. This is what happens when you put your trust in people.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you elevate a human being to a position that you elevate a human being to. It will only ever lead to idolatry. Mm-hmm. It will only ever lead to Baals. Yep. It will only ever lead to murder and rape and theft and taxation and overworking and whatever. And I'm not just saying that. Read Samuel through Kings or even Judges through Kings. And again, it's this block that just shows that as people, we tend to just mess everything up.
Who would have thought?
We just mess everything up. It's a warning. It's a warning for Christians. We need to be able to look back on that and say, wait a minute. We're being told all the time today to put our trust in one person or two people or a party or whatever. Listen, it'll lead you down the same. If you want to be just like everyone else, then fine. God says go do it. But listen, read Judges through Kings, and you will learn very quickly that we should be careful.
It's like you are given, what do we call it, freed will?
Yes.
To choose God.
Yeah.
And then when you don't choose God, you know what's going to happen. And for some reason, we think that we're smarter. We're enlightened.
And Jesus is the King of Kings, right? And so he's supposed to, it's all the way back to Exodus. Yeah. Again, why we're going to start in Exodus. So remember this, it's all the way back to Exodus.
Yeah.
Here God, Jesus goes out in the wilderness. He's like, come to me. Let's worship together. Let's be formed around my kingdom. And we still seek kings.
Yep.
So you have that block. So you start to see, I hope I'm painting like a good way to kind of view this is the beginning, the fall, God calling his people out, God delivering his people, shaping his people. They move in, everything seems good, and then they try to govern themselves, and they want to be like everyone else, and it just falls and falls and falls and falls and falls, all the way down to exile, whether it's the division of the kingdom. Hey, listen, if you want a word for today, just pay attention to when God's people get divided over power and politic. All of a sudden, this great land of Joshua is divided. Yep. Two kingdoms. And then Assyria comes. Then you get into the prophets. The prophets are these painful pictures of God's people who have now strayed so far. And now God's giving them up to other nations to rule over them. So it's Isaiah and the Assyrians, it's Ezekiel, Jeremiah and Babylon. And the first half of Jeremiah is, hey, this is going to happen if you don't get your acts right. And then it happens. And he's like, oh, hey, everyone keeps saying it's only going to last like 3 days. Oh, no, hunker down. It's going to be a while.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just want to help you engage with the Old Testament a little bit better. I've come to really appreciate the Old Testament. I used to say, it's really boring. It's hard to read. And Pam might still get mad at me for saying that right now. But it's true.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mask that. I think a lot of Christians dodge the Old Testament because it's overwhelming.
It is.
A lot of history, a lot of detail, a lot of repetition. It's like, oh, how many laws do I have to read today? I don't even understand what it's saying half the time. Now, if you're well-versed in the Gospels, you can pick out Jesus, and then it kind of comes to life a little bit. But I really wanted to help us kind of see where we're heading on the podcast and encourage you to view the Old Testament in blocks like that. Because it helps you engage with it because you know what you're supposed to be learning about in that time frame.
Yeah.
So Genesis, the beginning, God calling his people out of the mess of Genesis 1 through 11. God delivering and governing his people, ushering them into the promised land. The terrible tendency of humans of constantly getting it wrong because we love power or we get our own egos or we don't control our emotions, to wanting to just be like everybody else. Give us a king like everybody. Let us be like everyone else. And God lets us do that. Freed will. He lets us do that, and then we're just like everybody else in all the worst ways possible too, but no longer a loving good shepherd like Ezekiel would say in Ezekiel 34, but just hateful shepherds that only are out for themselves, that don't lift the weak and whatever. And then you get the prophets that are like, if my people would just turn back to me. When you read it like that, then you start to see in good Wesleyan ways of reading the Bible where the Old Testament points to Jesus. This whole time, humanity is just going down the hill, and we just keep messing it all up.
Yeah.
And Jesus is the good shepherd that comes into the world, and he starts to strengthen the weak and feeding the poor and healing the sick and all those things that we're always supposed to be God's people, always happening in God's presence through the temple, and we just wanted to be like everybody else. And so baptized in the water in the Jordan out in the wilderness would follow Jesus right out into temptation and stuff, and we're supposed to let him be our kingdom. And lo and behold, we still struggle in the same ways. And so the Old Testament, if you read it that way, is really a good warning to people like us, even with Jesus, who's supposed to be the King of Kings. We have a tendency to follow the same patterns of the Old Testament community. I want to be just like everybody else. And
that's not what God's calling us to do.
Oh, no. Not at all. Not at all. So it's a good warning, but I hope that helps you kind of want to read the Old Testament a little bit more. But we thought, okay, if this is what God's always been up to, is trying desperately to save his people.
Yeah.
Trying desperately to have his people in his kingdom, worshiping him and being with him, fulfilling their end of the covenant. If this is what God's desperately been doing, then let's focus on that desperate move of God of just and God kind of handing them over in that. So we're going to work through Exodus and some of the portions of Exodus. We'll talk about these things, and all the way through, I just think exploring a lot of those stories, you and I, could be really good for you and me to learn how to engage with this world a little bit differently. So let's go to Exodus.
I'm there.
Where do you want to start? I mean, I guess we could just start in One, we don't have to read everything verbatim, but
Right. So Exodus starts with, right before Exodus, you got Joseph bringing his family, which is a bunch of people,
yeah.
to Israel.
Or
To
Egypt.
Egypt, sorry.
Yeah.
And they are supposedly being taken care of.
Yeah, well, they were.
At the beginning.
Oh, yeah, because Joseph was number 2 in the land, right?
But then he died, and
He died.
the Pharaoh died or something.
Yeah.
And
Is a new king over
New
Egypt
king.
the only way that's going to happen?
and they're like, ooh, free labor.
Yeah, and I think it says it right there. He did not know Joseph. It's always, that one right there should pause us as God's people for a moment.
Yeah.
Cozy up to a leader today. Eventually there will be a new leader who does not know you,
Yeah.
doesn't remember.
Mm-hmm. And they're going to do what they want to do.
Right there.
Yep.
Right? Again, people pass away. God's the only thing that remains constant, right? So cozy up to a leader today, and the day will come where they won't even remember that you existed. And that's what happens in the first chapter of Exodus is you go from number 2 in the land and God's people thriving. This covenant community is called out in Genesis. They are thriving.
And it sounds like he was afraid that they were going to overtake them. The Israelites were going to overtake the Egyptians because there were so many of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're literally living out God's promise. God's promise is they're going to be numerous and more than the sands on the seashore, right? And that's happening right in front of Pharaoh. And like any foreigner, for the people of the land, you start to see people that aren't like you in your land. And it's easy to think that they outnumber you, or to be afraid that they are going to outnumber you and that they become a threat to your existence. And that's what's happening right here. We got these foreigners in this land that aren't really Egyptian. Well, who are their ancestors? I don't know. Some guy named Joseph. I don't know who Joseph was. Who cares? Listen, they're going to take us over. We got to do something about this. Now, they didn't have ways to expel them, but they had ways to subjugate them. And so that's what starts happening is we need to work them. Because if we can trod them down in specific ways, then they won't know that they are powerful people.
Yep.
Or however you might want to view that, or at least that's Egypt's fear because they're all about power.
Yeah.
If we can dehumanize them.
They worked them to death.
Yeah.
They took their kids.
Yeah. And that's right at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
They're oppressed. They keep, it's just in the first few verses, and they're overworked and they're making bricks and they're just, they're just dehumanized. And then it's like, okay, they keep multiplying. So how do you stop that?
Make them all female.
Yeah. Why? Why would you why kill the boys? What's the point of that?
Because the men work more?
No.
I don't know.
It's all about sperm.
Well, that's fair.
No, it is. Because eventually, enough Egyptian men are going to make those Israeli women
assimilation.
pregnant.
Yeah.
It's assimilation, which is a dangerous thing.
Yeah.
It's not what God calls for, and God's people is assimilation. I mean, just look at Rahab, even in the Old Testament. Assimilation, as far as that goes, like losing your identity. What's the best way to get rid of all these pesky Israelites in Egypt? Well, breed them out. Yeah. Breed them out. It reminds me of the movie, it's my favorite movie, Braveheart.
Oh,
Prima nocta is what they would call it there. But yeah, you get rid of the men because the men are who controlled society. The men were the owners and in power. And so they were the ones that would impregnate the women. And so if you get rid of those that can plant those seeds, then eventually those people just don't grow. And if they do grow, they're going to be Egyptian.
Yeah.
So it's they're in a dangerous place where they literally will cease to be a people here. And that's all of Pharaoh's job. We're going to work them to death. We're going to kill off the men. We're going to make sure that they don't grow anymore as far as who they are as a people, kill all the baby boys. And then, you know, eventually we'll have them completely in our control, or they'll just be the lower class of Egypt.
Yep.
We'll just know them as Egyptians, kind of thing.
And then you got these 2 women midwives.
Yeah, and then you get this beautiful picture of resistance.
Yeah.
I know we don't like that word so much today, you know, whatever it might be. Hi, Missy. But she has a son. What were their names? Is it right there? Shifra and Pua.
Pua. Pua is the pig from Moana.
Pua.
Probably makes more
I
sense.
think it's you, Pua. Anyway, they have a baby boy named, well, he's not named Moses yet. They have a little baby boy, and they're supposed to have him killed, right? And what do? They put him in a basket, and they send him down the river, right? Cool side note, I don't know if you knew this. It's in my dictionary of biblical imagery. It's the same word. What the basket that Moses, the baby boy, is put into
The ark.
is an ark.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's an ark. Ark of the Covenant,
Yep.
Moses' ark, or Noah's ark. What does that mean? Yeah, it's this beautiful, like, safe thing on the water, you know, that keeps God's people safe. And here's Moses in the ark floating down the river. Oh, man, if that doesn't take you back to Genesis chapter 6, I don't know, 5 and 6, I don't know what does. Here he is, baby Moses put in the ark, one of a kind, sent down the river, and he's picked up by Pharaoh's daughter of all people. And then these 2 resistant mom and sister, you know, put a word into the princess's ear. Hey, I got a woman here that can nurse him, right? Oh, it turned out to be Moses' mom. And so you have this, again, God's people. It's not that God just made this happen out of thin air. There were people who dared to stay true to God in the midst of the mess, even if it might cost them something, to try to save their people. And here God uses them in wild ways and stays faithful.
So, this isn't any of the movies that I know of, but the child got to be with his mom and dad until he had grown up.
Yeah.
So he had a foundation of their culture
That's absolutely right.
already embedded in him.
And that's
before he went to Pharaoh's daughter.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's see.
First,
3 months.
Yep.
She couldn't hide him. But he did grow up with Pharaoh's daughter.
No.
Yeah. No.
Pharaoh's daughter agreed. Yes, do that. So the girl went and called the child's mother.
Right.
Pharaoh's daughter said
It's like a joint thing.
Yeah.
It's the midwifery
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, absolutely. So here he is growing up as essentially the child of the daughter of Pharaoh, but growing up with mom.
You want to talk about tension?
Yeah, but she would have had to have subvert that tension a lot. But she, again, you see it in the last half of chapter 2. Well, did it work? Right? So here, this mom and daughter just desperately trying to hold on in the midst of people being dehumanized, oppressed, and murdered. Sending their boy in an ark down a river, manipulating the situation. Hey, get mom in here. And mom raises him, tells the story. Mm-hmm. Tells the story of Joseph and Jacob and Isaac and Abraham and all the fathers. And so we get to the second half of chapter 2, and Moses out there, he's grown up kind of in this dual world. Boy, if this isn't a word for today. Mm-hmm. He's like a resident alien. That's a Stanley Hauerwas quote from a legendary theology book. Good book for anyone to read, honestly, to remind us We are all resident aliens. We all reside in the countries we're in, but our allegiance is to somewhere far different than here. So we're all aliens in that regard. And so here he is in this like tense mom. He's going through Egyptian school at the same time. He knows about their customs. He knows about their gods, especially Pharaoh being a god and a deity himself. But then he's got mom, Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and Joseph, and all these beautiful stories of God calling God's people out, who they are as a peculiar people and what God had promised them in that covenant. But he's getting both. He's getting this tension. And then he comes out into the slave yard at the end of chapter 2, and he sees an Egyptian man beating one of his people. It's really interesting to think, man, his mom did a really good job of making sure he knew where his allegiance was supposed to lie, which is always to God and God's kingdom. And then Moses gets really angry, and he kills him. Old Testament's messy, man. It's really messy. But he kills this Egyptian, he buries him.
Yep.
And it's all because, he's tired. He's like, listen, like this got to stop. These are my people. He starts to see this for himself.
And then he runs away.
Oh, Moses. Oh, Moses. Anyway, that's a good place to stop today, because next time we talk, God hearing the cry of his people. But I think if I could encourage anyone to read Exodus, these first 2 chapters really have this picture of the tension. I mean, you brought it up. This tension between who you're being raised by and the wisdom to know which one's the right one.
Yeah.
It's going to be something that God's people will not get right from here on.
Yeah. And we still get it wrong.
And we do. We still get it wrong. We absolutely, and we're wrong right now. We do get it wrong. It's easy to live in Egypt and confuse God and God's kingdom and God's purpose for our lives with the kingdom we live in and their purpose and their purpose for our lives. I love about Shiphrah and Puah. And thank goodness for women in the scripture who had the courage to keep pushing God's people forward. But what I love about them is they weren't going to give in completely. You see that later in like Daniel and stuff. Daniel is this great picture of resistance as well in the midst of Babylon. We won't let them change who we are. And Shiphrah and Puah are like, we can't let them erase us. Now, I don't think that we don't need to worry about that today, but we can't let them erase us. We can't let them like breed us out. We got to save this boy, even if it just trusting in God. We're going to put him in an ark. That's so cool, by the way. Frederick Buechner pointed that out too. We're going to put him in an ark, send him down the floody waters, and trust that dry ground will be on the other side. And so they do that. They just do this resistance. And then that tension of instilling that foundation in Moses of who he was as a person, even though he's growing up in a different land with a different people, as a resident alien. Recognize that tension in the first couple of chapters. And recognize the tension in where we are today.
I like that it's a good reminder of how important it is how we raise our children.
Yeah. Yes.
We cannot be, I have to plug this because I'm a children's pastor.
That's fair.
You have to be as intentional, because we are living in this tension of world versus Christianity. You have to be very intentional about how you raise your children. And it can be exhausting.
Yeah.
And it can be hard.
Yeah.
But God takes care of us if we trust him.
That's right. And I want to encourage, especially parents, grandparents raising kids, help them know the difference. If I get in trouble here, so be it. Help them know the difference between the kings and the lands they live in and the King of Kings and the kingdom of God. Help them know the difference between the allegiances that are required of them on earth over against that do not equate with the allegiance to God and God alone, and God's kingdom and God's purposes and whatnot. So, yes, it's so important right now to teach your children, to spend time with them, to reinforce them the stories of God's people. Yeah, if we're not Shipra and Pua, then they just become American.
Yeah.
And I know that I say that and it triggers, even in me, kind of a gut reaction of like, well, what's wrong with that? Well, nothing's wrong with that. It's like, yeah, okay, this is where we live. But this ain't my home.
Yeah.
I know God's story. I know how it began. I know how kings have always led us astray. And I know one king that's never brought me any harm, that's only brought life. I know one good shepherd that strengthens the weak and heals the sick and cares for the needy. I know one kingdom that is more gracious and loving than the kingdom that I live in. So help them know the difference and be able to live in that tension. You can't get rid of the tension of being in whatever country, a resident, a citizen of whatever country you live in. The danger of God's people is to is to think you're still Christian but no longer be Christian, because you've given up the tension. You've given into the tension, and you're largely just Egyptian. So help them know the tension to say, listen, earthly leaders, no matter who they are or what symbol they fly under, we can kid ourselves and say, well, one's more for us than the other. No, that's just Samuel. We'll get there. Don't worry. It's just Samuel. But help them know the tension.
Yeah.
Where you are is not where you're from. And who you are and who they are is not who you are. So chase God's kingdom, even if that means sometimes you got to be unhappy with where you are.
Yeah.
Even if you got to push back from where you are. So, yeah, if there's any advice I can give to parents and grandparents is help them know the difference between the kings of our day and the King of Kings.
Yeah.
Put them in an ark, man. Send them down the river. Trust in the Lord, and He will sustain His people. So I did hear, side note real quick, is my friend Danny was preaching on Sunday at his church, and he said this really cool thing. And I was like, we say King of Kings, and I think nowadays he said this, he's like, we want to hear like prophet, he's my prophet, he's my priest, and he's my president, and he's like, it's alliteration, like PPP, but also PR, and he was just going, I was like, yeah, that's what most pastors like to do. He said this though, and I thought this was so good, and this is really important in a discussion for today, where it's about help them navigate the tension between God's kingdom and the kingdom of the world that they're living in.
Yeah.
He says, here's the thing, Jesus can never be a president.
Right.
Because presidents represent the will of the people.
Yeah.
Boy, if that wasn't backwards, that's Samuel, right? That's let us be like everyone else. No, he's king. And the church exists for the will of God. Like this is straight up the opposite of that. But anyway, I found that really profound this weekend. I was, good job, Danny. Good job. Jesus is not my president.
Yeah.
Because He doesn't represent my will.
Right.
He's my king. And the kingdoms of this world don't always, and mostly never represent God's will.
Right.
Don't ever forget that. Don't let your kids forget that. Let go of the earthly symbols. Adorn your houses in crosses, not animals.
Yeah.
Live in that tension and do it faithfully.
Yeah.
God will take care of the rest. Anyway, there you have it.
It's a good one. Good start.
Hey, we're in Exodus, guys. Maybe
Yeah.
next week we'll continue on in chapter 3 and beyond. But hey, if you struggled with the Old Testament, maybe reach out sometime and
Yeah.
we can talk you through some of it. Or maybe there's a book in the Old Testament that you really like. I'd love to hear from that too, as one that's really impacted you that you find really helpful at helping you navigate the tension between the world you live in and the kingdom you're invited into. Hey, guys, trust me, God's kingdom is better than this one. I promise you.
Amen.
I promise you. All right. Take care of your kids. Love you. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.